We are talking just how ludicrous the NFL draft process is because all of a sudden, rumor has it that Anthony Richardson, yes,
No.
Anthony Richardson,
No.
that Anthony Richardson
Nah.
is rumored to go number 1 to the Colts. I'm going to dismantle a lot of foolishness. Daniel's going to join next on Locked On Bulldogs.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, your team every day. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for following along, listening on audio, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your audio podcast. We really appreciate you over there. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, go subscribe to the audio side. That helps us out a tremendous amount. And if you are a loyal third segment listener, go over to the old 199, bonfire.com/store/the 199. Get yourself a Fluent in Curbonese shirt or some other various merch over there. So, Clint, we're talking about the NFL draft, and
which, God love us,
listen, I have long since said there is not an example of a person who overthinks their job more than an NFL general manager. There's no league, there's no sports league that is worse at evaluating talent and making simple, straightforward, obvious choices when it comes to who should and shouldn't be drafted than the NFL. Every league has busts. Every league has players that don't pan out. Every league has players that shouldn't have been drafted where they were drafted. But no league is like the NFL, where general managers consistently, over and over again, talk themselves into absolutely ludicrous things for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And so we're going to talk about two of those absolutely ludicrous opinions that are floating around out there about college quarterbacks. Both played in the SEC. Both are names that Georgia fans are very familiar with. But before we do that, let's rank all the quarterbacks on a scale of 0% Stetson Bennett to 100% Stetson Bennett. No, I'm just joking. That was yesterday's podcast.
He's the greatest quarterback in college football history.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Stetson Bennett, if he were an inch taller, would be a first-round pick in the NFL draft because that's how dumb NFL general managers are. They honestly think that 1 inch is what's going to separate someone from being an elite future Hall of Famer to a nothing garbage perennial backup. Like this is what NFL general managers think. Before we get to Anthony Richardson and Will Levis, though, let's just clear the air in segment 1 for the people, Clint.
Okay.
Who's the best quarterback on the board for the NFL draft coming up?
There's one answer, and I know it's a small sample size, but the sample size, we talk about potential because apparently that's what we do with NFL GMs. It's C.J. Stroud, y'all.
It's C.J. Stroud. That's
and
the answer.
It's not close. And when I say not close, I mean I wouldn't take another quarterback within 6 picks of C.J. Stroud.
To be clear, I don't think any of them are worth trading away to get to a number 1 overall pick for. I don't think any of them. Any of the quarterbacks in this draft would I trade to get to a number 1 overall pick if I'm the Indianapolis Colts. But if you're going to take a quarterback, I do think it's C.J. Stroud. I do think Bryce Young's got a lot there. He's smaller than Stetson Bennett, which apparently doesn't hurt him, but does hurt Stetson Bennett. And if you're an NFL general manager, you have to be concerned about injury when it comes to Bryce Young. Obviously, you hope that that's not a thing, but you have to be concerned about it if you're an NFL general manager. I think C.J. Stroud's the obvious choice. I think he can make the throws. The Ohio State quarterback in the NFL nonsense is just that. It's just nonsense. It doesn't mean anything about C.J. Stroud. But he is far and away better than all of these other options that are being looked at for a potential number 1 overall pick. But again, NFL general managers just can't get out of their own way to make a sensible, competent decision. Just once. One time.
Just please.
One
For the
time.
love.
All right. Let's get into segment 2. Let's talk about old Sunbelt Billy's pride and joy, Anthony Richardson, and how he's the next Jalen Hurts.
Oh, my gosh. I cannot wait to talk about that. But first, we're going to talk about Built Bar. Built Bar is the tastiest protein bar on planet Earth. They have all the amazing flavors. They got orange, chocolate. Yep. They got cookie dough.
Ooh, yep.
The season comes out. And by the way, when fall hits, be looking for some autumn spice. Some apple crisp.
Like a little apple caramel flavor.
Ooh, it's something else. Daniel and I have tried them. We love them. Get over to Built Bar by Built.com right now and mix and match. Get 50% off your entire order with Locked On promo code. You get marshmallow. You get high in fiber, low in sugar, high in protein bar. And it's the best protein bar on the planet because it tastes like a candy bar. Meal replacement on the go, during workout, pre-workout, post-workout. In the pickup line as you are waiting to get those kids out from school.
Boy, I hate that pickup line.
It's
you don't want to be
brutal, but it makes it a lot better when you got a Built Bar. Built Bar kind of brings that little insulin spike hits. You're kind of going hangry. All of a sudden, boom, Built Bar, and you're good to go. Built Bar, the tastiest protein bar on planet Earth.
All right, Clint.
I got it ready.
Old Anthony Richardson had quite a career at Florida. I mean, we're talking about backed up some of the greats like Emory Jones there at Florida, was a backup to, guys who were really going to go down in history as all-time great Florida quarterbacks when you think about Emory Jones. And famously did make an appearance in a couple different Georgia games, and I think played well. Did he play well in the Georgia games, Clint?
Hold on,
I've been watching a lot of highlight tape of Anthony Richardson. I've not seen any power G's in the highlight film of Anthony Richardson. No. So when you're telling me that when he went up against elite defenses,
what had happened?
He played real poorly against them.
Wasn't great.
No.
And this is, look, I just did a very simple thing, Daniel.
Okay.
Somebody on Twitter made the ludicrous proposition that the NFL draft is all about physical ceiling.
Okay.
So when
number
Todd
one,
McShay,
if that's true,
uh-huh,
that only proves our point in how ridiculously stupid NFL general managers are.
I'm gonna name 3 players who this would fit the bill before. Okay, Ryan Leaf, number 1. Okay, number
Jamarcus
2,
Russell.
Jamarcus Russell, number 2.
Yep. These are the guys that are the comps for Anthony Richardson.
I don't know what to tell you. I know they are different people. I know that it is. Look, eye-popping run. He's going to show out at the combine. I get it. Arm velocity all day long. That's what ESPN said. I'm just going to give you a couple stats. So some ludicrous sports people are just the worst. I swear this guy's trying to get a position with a bar stool for how stupid his take was. He said,
Brandon Walker's already got him on speed.
Brandon Walker said, "Come on in, brother.
Come on in, son."
I hear that accent. Is that how you say? I don't know. Look,
I think that was Yosemite Sam.
Yeah,
That's what that was.
It was a little.
It could have been. I think you broke out into what was almost a foghorn leghorn. It was almost a foghorn leghorn vibe to it.
So, somebody said, "Hey, high upside. The new head coach, once of the Colts, has a history of taking unproven talent and making them good." And the 2 people that he used was Jalen Hurts and Bobby Hebert's long forgotten nephew of some sort. Herbert over at the Chargers. And then Richardson. And I just want to give you a couple stats. This is Jalen Hurts last year at Oklahoma. 69.7% completion, 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 3,851 yards, 1,298 yards rushing. Okay?
That seems high.
It's very good.
It seems good.
Herbert, 66.8% completion, 32 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 3,471 yards, and like 20 yards of rushing because that's not his game. Anthony Richardson, one of these things is not like the other.
Here we go.
53.8% completion.
Oh, that's 10% less.
Oh, it's plus some. 17 touchdowns.
That's half.
9 interceptions.
That's more.
2,549 yards.
That's pitifully compared.
And 654 yards rushing.
Okay. So you're telling me all the eye-popping runs that he had, and he didn't get to 1,000 yards rushing. You're telling me all of those massive deep shot throws that he made, and he didn't get to 3,000 yards passing, something Stetson Bennett did twice. You're telling me that his completion percentage was under 60%.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
And we're trying to compare him to the quote-unquote unproven talent of Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts. Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts proved more in college than Anthony Richardson could ever dream of doing in his entire career. That those guys did more for their teams. Put them on their backs and delivered wins. Delivered, if not championships, championship game appearances. Put them in contention to win meaningful football games.
There it is. That's
now
the
again,
thing.
NFL general managers, I ask you,
please,
what has Anthony Richardson ever done? Now, I understand that there's a lot of physical tools that are present. But again, fool me once, shame on you. But when a person consistently doesn't perform with all of the physical tools that you see, don't the physical tools begin to become a negative characteristic of them? Do you see what I'm saying?
You carry the one, and then you add those up, and it adds up to not a good football player.
The more physically gifted they are, the more of a disappointment they are. A person who doesn't have any physical tools and throws for 53% completion percentage and 2,000 yards and rushes for 600 yards, you're going to look at him and go, you know what? That's a gamer. That guy can get things done. A guy that doesn't have the physical tools that you're looking for, and I don't know, throws for 3,000 plus yards in back-to-back season and wins back-to-back national championships and wins offensive MVP in all 4 college football playoff games against the best of the best, the most elite competition that there is in college football.
Say more.
It's almost as if the lack of physical tools that Brock Purdy and Stetson Bennett have becomes an asset to a reason why you should draft them. You see? NFL GMs, what are we doing?
I'm gonna come back after this, and we're gonna give a couple of analogies. We're gonna do a car analogy. I'm gonna talk about dating, and we're gonna try to get GMs educated on this. It's gonna be real.
It's gonna be a third segment to
remember,
guys.
Come 199. Come on back right after this.
Okay, is your wife out of the room? Or we're gonna talk about old girlfriends here on the pod?
That's not how she used to do it. Don't repeat that phrase to anybody that you're with. It's just not good.
Oh no.
Here's the deal.
Okay.
You ever look at a significant other, a potential mate in life?
Okay.
And you say to yourself, man, they look really, really, really attractive.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I just am enamored with their looks. But they don't got no job.
Oh, okay.
They've been fired from other jobs.
Pets' heads are falling off?
Pets' heads are falling off. They don't have any roommates, and it's not because they they can not afford to have roommates because nobody wants to live with them.
That's right. Okay.
You bring up conversation about current events or any book written in the last 120 years, and they have no concept of what's happening.
We're talking about my cousin. Is that who we're talking about?
Look, Daniel, we don't have time to get into the geopolitics of the South versus. I'm a Yankee. Sorry. I get it. Education. I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
One of those.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
All of a sudden, you start saying to yourself, maybe I shouldn't be with this person simply based on eye-popping things.
Yeah.
Just a random thought.
But what if they're the next Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, people just find a person. This is my least favorite thing. It's like Will Levis is the next Josh Allen. Do you understand what a ridiculous thing that is?
Do you know, by the way, like, we are sounding like Madden NFL draft right now.
It's
where we just say, oh, he's like so-and-so. You're like, no,
he's not.
No, he's not. You can't just randomly say that because you hit a couple of buttons someplace and you want to force a narrative.
Like, Josh Allen was terrible in college.
Awful.
He was terrible at Wyoming. And he got to the NFL, and now he's very good at winning regular season games and throwing a lot of interceptions in the red zone.
Oh, no.
But he's still very good.
Oh, no.
But every NFL GM is ruined because of people like Josh Allen. Because once every 10 years, a player who was absolute garbage, but has the physical tools, finds a way to put it together in the NFL.
Yes.
And now every other player who was actually terrible, like Will Levis was actually bad in college.
Yes.
Like, he threw the ball to the other team with his massive arm cannon a lot.
Velocity. Daniel, velocity is the word you're looking for.
He was poor often. But because Josh Allen, who was also bad in college, turned out to be good in the NFL GMs have been given a blank check to just draft any loser that they come across, who, again, has the arm talent to justify it.
And by the way, anybody want to say, well, what about Lamar Jackson? Okay. Lamar Jackson in college was a stud.
Yeah.
He took a Louisville team.
He was a winner.
Louisville to an 8-5 record his final year. Went up against Mississippi State in a bowl, lost by 4 points. When you can't think of anybody else, there was a couple of good guys on that Louisville team, but he was the team. He was it. He was close to 60% completion percentage.
Look up the numbers and look up Anthony Richardson's numbers. You don't have to win. I get that it's a team game. I get that the wins for quarterbacks, Stetson Bennett, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's the most important stat to their college team, but it's not the most important stat to an NFL general manager.
60% completion percentage, 3,660 yards, 27 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 146.6 passer rating.
It just night and day. Just
not the same.
You don't have to be, but like you have to be a dude that puts your team on your back and delivers. And Anthony Richardson just didn't do that. He didn't do it. He had a 2-point conversion against Utah. I don't know what else. What else are we talking about? What else did he do?
They're not the same. Please, I want an NFL GM to be fired for drafting Anthony Richardson. You're doing it to yourselves, and you deserve it. Honestly, because the NFL is a trash product anyway. And it makes absolute sense to me that these trash product people would be looking for Anthony Richardson as the number 1 overall draft choice. It makes all the sense in the world because you don't care about actually winning games.
Correct.
They do interviews at the combines that are just like, staring contests.
Yes. It's
okay.
Well, we're trying to evaluate their mental toughness.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Have fun.
What if we just watched a college game one time? And then we made a determination based on people playing football, how good they were at playing football.
That sounds wild. Daniel. This has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We're going to be back tomorrow with a special guest. Be back then. We'll see y'all.
See ya.